what you tend to hear with this is that because Herod's asking them timing issues up top here, when did the star appear? And they would have traveled, there would have been a period of time, because we're then told that where are we? Verse 11, they went into a house. Okay, because we've got this language of house here, that's a house. Let's make it a little English house with some smoke, okay? Because it was a house, then it couldn't be baby Jesus, you know, Christmas, middle of the night kind of thing, the scene that we have on our Christmas cards, because we all know that was a stable or a cave. But actually, we don't know that. So I'm going to do a trade with anyone that hasn't heard this before. I will trade you the stable. Okay, if you give up the stable, I'll give you something better in its place. All right, I'll give you the wise men arriving potentially the same night. I think that's a good deal. Okay, so if you go over to Luke and you look at the story, we're told that Jesus was born and laid in a manger. The shepherds were told, you'll find him wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger. That's where we get the stable from, because of the language of manger. But actually, what makes more sense in that era is that if you're a poor peasant family with a handful of animals, like a donkey, a couple of sheep, maybe a goat, probably not a donkey actually if you're really poor, so a couple of sheep and a goat, you wouldn't put them probably in a rickety old stable outside of town where they're going to get stolen. You're far more likely to bring them into the house, lock the doors so you know exactly where they are. They're not going to get stolen, plus you get the benefit of central heating and all sorts of kind of ambient noise during the night to help you sleep, because their houses were really basic, just a living space, a little area at the sort of front, maybe lowered down where the animals would be, and then a locked door, and that's where the family would live. Attached to the house at the back or above is a guest room. And that's the word that Luke uses that's translated in, but it's the word for guest room. Okay, so we need to drop the motel idea and start thinking guest room idea. It's the same word that's used for the upper room when they have the Passover, the Last Supper. And so it's an attached room, attached to the house. They couldn't stay in there because there were people already in there. And so where would Jewish people put them? They wouldn't stick them in a stable. That's a very kind of modern Western, we don't care about our guests kind of way of dealing with it. Jewish hospitality would say, no, you're coming right in here, especially you, young lady, who looks like you need looking after. So they would have been in the living room of a poor peasant home. And then when the baby was born, he was laid in a manger, which would be right there in the living room, in the animal space of the room. And so when the shepherds are told, you'll find him wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger, they don't panic and say, we must get him into our home because he can't be living in a manger, in a stable. They think, oh, he's in a manger. We know where that would be. So they go looking for him. Okay, so that everything kind of makes sense if you put Jesus into the living room instead of into the stable. And our tendency is to go, oh, no, I like the stable because it's so humble. We've never been in one of these homes. This is incredibly humble, but it's better because it's humble with us. This is Emmanuel, God with us in poor peasant living room. And if he'd go there, he'd go to your house, he'd go to mine.